Hello yogis, this is Alex. Tonight I'm going to be doing a slow flow, all levels, for the evening to relieve some stress from your workday or possibly to get ready to go to sleep. And we're going to do that by doing a lot of deep hip and hamstring opening, forward bending, and that's going to slow down the body. I'm going to hold the poses for a little longer, and it's going to slow down the mind as well. It's also going to relieve any lower back pain that you might have from sitting in a chair all day. So from Shavasana, begin to deepen the breathing, but keeping it soft at the same time. We're taking long, deep breathing here. Breathe in and out through the nose. Breathe into the belly, ribs, and chest. And out through the chest, ribs, and belly. And then we're going to come up on the elbows, bend the knees, come into a hammock position with the body, just like you're relaxing on the beach, and then bring the knees over on an exhale to one side, and inhale, bring them back up to center. So just rocking the knees side to side, beginning to warm up the hips and the lower back, moving the legs around in their sockets. Just getting used to some movement in that part of your body. And then come back down to lying down and bring the right knee into the chest. Pull the knee in very tightly. And if you'd like, you can even bring the leg outside of the torso to the right, so the right knee is aiming towards the right armpit. That's just in case you want a deeper stretch in the hip at this point. And then bring the right knee over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down, that's very important. And don't bring the leg over so far that your shoulder comes off the ground. Turn your head to the right. So just twisting the whole spine in that direction. Keeping the breath long and deep, even though it's slightly constricted in the twist. And then come back to center. Extend the right leg long. Bring the left knee into the chest. And squeeze it in tightly. Just opening up more in the lower back. Maybe bring the leg over to the left. Left knee to left armpit. That's only if you want a deeper stretch here in the hip at this point. And then on an exhale, we'll bring the left knee over to the right, anchoring the left shoulder down, turn the head over to the left, twisting the whole spine and maintaining a long, deep breath. So bring your concentration to your breath, and that will slow down the mind. And then coming back to center, bring both knees into the chest and just gently rock yourself up to seated. Come to Sukhasana, easy pose. So it's just sitting with one foot in front of the other. And then we're going to come to Marichyasana C. So we're just bending the right knee, extending the left leg. Very simple twist over to the right. You can bring your left arm around your right knee or hook it in front of your right And just plant your right hand behind you, looking back behind you, but making sure the twist isn't just in your neck. The twist should be really focused on the upper back. And then come back to center. And we're just going to take that. Maybe you can stay in the first twist, but here I'm taking a variation on the twist, so my left hand is on the outside of my right foot. And then I'm just extending the right arm back behind me, keeping it hovering. It's just a variation and it's optional. And then come back to center. And come back to Sukhasana. And extend the body forward. So keep the right leg in front in this easy pose. So we'll switch sides when we go on to the other side and open up both hips. Just softening the body down. Make this a real ragdoll hang. Don't hold anything in the shoulders or the abdomen or the neck. And then come back up on an inhale. And extend the right leg forward. Bend the left knee and come into Marichyasana C. So you can wrap the left arm around or hook it onto the outside of the left leg. Bring your left arm behind you. And look back behind you, but remember the twist is really in the shoulders, the upper back, the area behind and around the heart. Keep the front of the body very open here. So avoid any collapsing in the front of the body, in the area around the heart. And keep the breath in mind because it can become constricted and twist. And then come back and possibly take the optional variation, taking the right hand on the outside of the left foot, extending the foot or keeping the leg bent, and extending the left arm back. So you've got two airplane wings and you're holding the outside of that foot. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to the original position, and this time bring your left foot in front in easy pose and come to forward fold again. And if the forward fold is too much, you can always put a blanket or some pillows underneath your head. Definitely keep some pillows nearby during this practice so that in case, especially if you're not very flexible in the hips or hamstrings, so you can really rest in every posture as much as somebody who's more flexible could. You want to be very relaxed in every posture. And inhale to come back up to sitting. And then you're going to just exhale back, scoot yourself back to a wide-legged extended child, melting the heart down to the floor. Your knees are open. Created a space for your torso to just really melt down, shoulders coming together behind the back, arms extending forward. Maybe if you're very deep in the pose, you might need to turn the head to one side or the other to be more comfortable in the neck. Breathe deep, opening up the heart towards the floor. Bringing the tailbone back to the heels, extending the whole back of the spine, making it longer. And then come to lying down on your stomach. We're just going to move into a Sphinx pose. So place your forearms on the floor, your palms flat on the floor, and drag your heart forward through your biceps. So you're going to just keep the whole body where it is, but make that movement in your upper back, dragging, using the leverage, the strength in your arms to pull your heart forward. And then come back down to lying down with your hands on either side of your shoulders and come up through Cobra back to Child's Pose. And then slide through knees, chest, and chin on the floor, and roll up to low Cobra again. And then we're going to exhale, come back to Child's Pose. Inhale, knees, chest, and chin to the floor into low Cobra. Hands aren't supporting the body in the low Cobra. Exhale, come back. In the low Cobra, you should be able to lift the hands off the floor. It's just the strength of your upper back leading you up. So from that floor, we're going to come up on all fours and exhale back to a downward facing dog. So in your dog, plant very firmly through the thumb and the forefinger. Plant the hands down, draw the shoulders down the back, draw the belly in, and draw the tailbone up. If you need to bend your knees to straighten the back and draw the tailbone up, if the tailbone is tilting down because your knees, your legs are straightened and your back is curved, and bend the knees and you'll find it helps you straighten your back more in the pose. It's perfectly acceptable here. You can walk out the feet, take any movement that you need to get comfortable in your dog, breathing very deeply. And inhale, coming to all fours once again. And we're going to take some cat-cow breathing. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, and exhale, arch the back up, squeeze out the breath. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the heart, and exhale, squeezing out the breath, arching up. Inhale, drop the belly, open the heart, look up. And exhale, curl the belly in, curl the back up. And then exhale again, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the right foot forward to a low lunge, and then exhale, open the right arm up into a twist, keeping the left hand on the floor inside the right foot. You can really open up the back here, go as deep into the twist as you'd like to. Keep the hips level, keep the back heel up, and then bring the left foot down. You're going to draw the left hip flexors down as low to the floor as you can. Bring the hands to the right knee. Use your hands to push you up into Anjaneyasana, half moon pose. So you're using the leverage of your arms against your knee to open up in the heart, come into a gentle back bend here, and then exhale. Come back to downward facing dog. And inhale, bring the left foot forward. Exhale, open the right arm, or the left arm, up into the sky and over into a twist, keeping the right hand planted firmly down inside the left foot. And keep the hips as level as possible here. Don't drop the right hip just because you're moving over to the right if you can. Keep the right heel up. And then drop the right knee. Draw that thigh, that hip flexor down low to the ground. Place your hands up on the left knee. Use your hands as leverage to push you into a gentle back bend, Anjaneyasana. If it's too much, you can keep your hands on the floor. Just beginning to open the heart here. And exhale, come back to a downward facing dog once again. Inhale, step or jump the knees forward. And I'm turning to face you. You don't have to turn to the side of the mat. I just want you to see what I'm doing. I'm going to come into Parigasana, gate pose. So bring the right knee out, the right foot out to the right. Point the toe forward or out to the side. I prefer to point it forward, it's just more comfortable. And then take the right arm down the right leg, lift the left arm overhead, bend to the side. Opening up in the side body here. Keep the left hip over the left knee. Breathe deeply. A lot of these poses are going to be constricting the breath, so bring your attention back to the breath. Squeeze on the right side, expand on the left side. You may have some tension in the lower left side of your body. Open that up. And then come back to center on an inhale. And exhale, bring your left foot out to the side, toe pointed forward or sideways. And then bring the left arm down, right arm up. Reach the arm very strongly over to the side. Don't collapse over. Keep the left side of the body strong, lifted, opening through the right side, or the right side of the body. Staying relaxed on the neck. Staying relaxed in the shoulder. Don't inch the shoulder up towards the neck or the ears. Then come back to the center. Bring your leg back in. And then come back through a plank. Knees, chest, chin. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing, cobra pose. Exhale, back to downward dog, bending through the knees. Inhale, step the feet forward to the hands. Look out to a flat back and then forward fold, clasp the elbows. Start to rock the body from side to side. Lengthen through the hamstrings, lift through the tailbone. Your torso is hanging off your hips, just suspended in the air like a weight, opening your hamstrings. And then on an in-breath, we're going to roll up to standing. And exhale. Inhale, step out to the right with the right foot. Turn the right toes out, the left toes in, and then reach the arms up to parallel to the floor. Reach the right arm forward. Place it down on either the floor, the foot, or a block, inside or outside the foot if it's on the floor or a block. And reach the left arm up. So we're creating one long wingspan with the arms, and we're creating a two-dimensional shape with the body. So the left hip is moving over the right hip. The left shoulder is moving over the right shoulder. And you're not moving the left shoulder so far back that you're back bending, just as much as you're not trying to hunch over it all in this pose. If you're hunching over, come out of it a little bit, and it'll be easier for you to straighten the spine to perpendicular with the floor. Engage in the right toes, press through the right big toe, and engage in the right quadriceps, and then inhale. Lift up to standing and exhale. Turn the toes in the left direction, so turn the left toes to the left and the right toes slightly in. Exhale, come back into Trikonasana on the left side this time. Bring the right shoulder over the left shoulder, the right hip over the left hip. Plant down through the left toes, engage in the left quadricep. Extend the spine out to the left. Imagine there's a wall behind you, and your whole body is working to flatten against that wall. So move your head in any position that's comfortable. So it can look up, or you can look forward or down. if that's going to work better for your neck. And we'll take a breath or two more here. Use your breath to extend the spine longer in triangle. And then inhale to come up. And exhale, turn your left toes in. You're going to turn the toes in slightly, pigeon-toed, and then exhale, forward fold into Prasarita Padottanasana. So you don't have to come very far down if you're not flexible in your hamstrings yet. You could come only halfway down or only a little bit of the way down, or you could plant your hands down and not bend them. But if your hands are on the ground, they're going to come shoulder distance. And if you want to fold deeper into the pose, you can bring your hands back, moving back toward under your hips or even beyond that point. And use the strength in your arms and your abdomen to pull your upper body through your legs. If your head's hitting the floor here, you might want to bring your feet in a little bit closer so you have more room for your head to come through. And inhale, just come up to the fingertips, keep the back flat, and then inhale, raise the right arm up to the ceiling, twist the body to the right, and we'll come back down, place the right hand down, and lift the left arm up to the ceiling, twist to the left, breathe deeply. And then come back down on the exhale, and then we'll take a little deeper twist. So bring the left hand to the right ankle, or you can do the original twist. But if you're doing this deeper twist, then you can bring the right arm up as your left hand takes your left ankle. And then bring your right arm down around your leg. Wrap your left arm around the leg too. Hug your leg like it's a tree. Bring your body down towards that leg. Really open up in that right hamstring, right groin. Should be a really nice, deep hip opener. And then eventually come out of it and then bring your right hand to the left ankle. Lift your left arm up, and then you can really just suspend in this twist. And then we're going to bring the left arm, the left arm around the left leg and the right arm around the left leg. Hug it like a tree. Draw the body into the leg. Open up through the left hamstring. Twist the body towards that leg. And then inhale to come back. Reach out to a flat back. Grab the toes in Yogi Toe Lock. We'll take another variation in Prasarita Padottanasana, grabbing the toes, pulling the body again down, maybe even beyond the legs, using the belly strength to pull you down and back. And of course, using the breath as well. And then inhale, look out to a flat back. And come up. Exhale and inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, come to stand at the front of your mat in Samastitihi. So on an in-breath, we're going to place the hands on the hips. Exhale, forward fold with the feet hip width distance apart. So that's about the width of 2 fists between your feet. Inhale, grab the toes in Yogi Toe Lock, look out to a flat back, and exhale, forward fold. So we're coming into Padangustasana. It's a little deeper of a forward fold than Uttanasana. Taking the hands in Yogi Toe Lock, using the in-breath to extend the spine longer, and the exhale to come a little bit deeper. You can see I'm making a little small movement to get deeper into the pose. So you can do that or make it more subtle. Use the abdomen to draw you down and in. And inhale out to a flat back. You can stick with Yogi Toe Lock, or you can stuff the hands underneath the feet so the palms of your hands are touching the soles of your feet and the back of your hands. The bony part of your hands is on the ground. And then you're going to inhale out to a flat back and exhale, fold. And do the same process in this position. Keep the breathing deep and long. This is a nice stretch for your wrists, especially if you've done some sun salutations and the backs of your wrists are cramping. So inhale, come out, and exhale, clasp the hands behind the back. Take one more variation here by bringing the hands behind the back, bringing the clasped hands forward, opening up the shoulders. Might be a little tricky to balance here with that weight of the arms pulling you forward. So just find your balance, engage Uddiyana Bandha, and continue to open through the hamstrings and the shoulder. So inhale, come to plank, high plank. And then exhale through knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Inhale, push through to low cobra with the feet. And exhale, come through the knees to a downward facing dog. And inhale, come to the hands and knees. And then bring the right knee in front of the left knee. We're coming to Gomukhasana. So the feet are on either side of the hips. Right knee is stacked on top of left. And really take the moment to ground through your sit bones. You can also sit on a block or a cushion or a blanket folded up underneath you if bringing the sit bones down and grounding them down isn't happening here. And then in this Gomukhasana, we're going to come to a forward fold. So if sitting upright is enough of a hip opener here for you, then I invite you to sit upright. Or you can come into a ragdoll hang. So don't put any effort into this. There should be no effort. If you need to place blocks under your head to support you, then do that, because you want to be completely relaxed. Let go of any tension in the shoulders, and then go of any engagement with Uddiyana Bandha trying to bring you forward. Just let gravity do the work in this pose. If you want to make the pose a little bit deeper, you can bring the legs, the feet, a little bit more out to the side from the hips. And just extend the arms forward, but leave them relaxed. And really breathe into the hip. And then inhale to come up. And exhale, just switching sides. Bring the left knee on top of the right knee and really ground down through the sit bones. They should feel very even on the floor. And come into the ragdoll on the other side. Starting to open up the hips on the floor in some restorative postures. Some seated forward bends. Use the breath to open up that hip. So if you want to move a little deeper into the hip opener, you can bring your feet a little bit more out to the side, or just gradually bring the torso down to rest on the thighs. Maybe start out a little high, and maybe you can gradually move in a little deeper with the hips. But use your breath to let go of any tension you're holding in the shoulders or in the torso. Inhale to come up. And exhale, we're just going to undo the legs and bring them into Tarasana. Tadasana is kind of like Baddha Konasana, which you might know, bound angle pose, but the feet are farther forward. So find a comfortable position to do that in where it's comfortable with your bone structure. If this pose feels weird in your leg bones, you might need to experiment with moving the feet forward or back. And then bring your head down to your feet. So in this pose you can curve, so don't sharply curve to strain to get your head to your feet. It is another ragdoll pose, so be very relaxed in whatever position you're in. And you're creating a star, six-pointed star, or Star of David with your body. So you can think about it with your head and your feet as the top point, your elbows as the two upper corner points, your knees as the bottom corner points, and your tailbone as the bottommost point. So that's why it's Tadasana. Inhale to come up. And then we're going to bring the feet in front of us and come into Paschimottanasana. So extend the legs, pull any flesh out from underneath the sit bones, ground the sit bones strongly. Inhale to reach up and exhale to forward fold. So I'm bringing my hands in a position that is very acceptable here. It's up closer to the knees. You can also bend the knees as I'm doing right here, and then gradually work to straighten them in the pose. And then place your hands wherever they're going to go. Inhale to a flat back and exhale forward fold. So the movement of the spine is not moving your head down to your knees here. It's moving your head to your feet, which obviously if you don't have, unless you have really short legs, your head's probably never going to touch your toes. So the spine is going to extend through this whole posture, as well as coming down to the legs. So use the in-breath to subtly pull your spine forward and engage Uddiyana Bandha here even. And then exhale to draw the spine closer to the legs. Inhale to come out to a flat back, and then exhale, come back to staff pose. And then bring the right knee in for Janushirasana. Bring it into a figure four. And then twist the body over the left leg. So we're just bringing the torso so that it's facing over the left leg. Lift the arms up and forward fold over that left leg. So this might just seem like an ordinary forward fold, but we're actually twisting over that left leg, even though it doesn't look like it. The torso, if it were to just go straight down, would go into the middle of the legs, and in this case, we're bending it over really to the left side a little bit by bringing it over that leg. So feel that opening in the right side of the body, and maybe even in the right leg. I was really tight when I did this, and I could feel it all through the right hip and the right quadricep. But on that note, be careful of the right knee. If you need to pad the leg or bring the foot farther forward so it's not such an intense hip opening, then do so. Inhale to sit up. We're just going to come into the B variation of Janushirasana. You're placing your heel under your hip. And then you're again forward folding over that left leg. So your hips are elevated off the ground now, and your heel is directly under your bottom. And your toes are going to be pointing out to the left underneath you. You can't see my toes here, but you will on the other side. And I think that this variation is less so much of an opening in that right side and the right hip, and more of an opening in the left hamstring. So extend the spine long, fold the body into the leg. Take a few deep breaths here. And then inhale to come up. And just switch sides as simply as possible. I'm just slowing down the body here. So come into Janu Sirsasana A with the left leg bent and the right foot forward, and then twist over that right leg. Fold over it. Open up through the left side of the body. And as you inhale, extend the spine longer. Twist the torso more deeply over that that right leg. And exhale, come deeper into the fold. Bring the body deeper, closer to the leg. And use this forward fold to just quiet down the mind as you slow down the body. Then inhale. Come out of the Janu Sirsasana A position and then come to the B position. And here you can see where my foot is. It's underneath my bottom, and then the toes are sticking out to the side. So if you're wondering on the other side what you were supposed to be doing with your foot, here you can see a little bit better. And then inhale to extend the spine out, and exhale, fold into the pose if you haven't done that already. And remember to relax the shoulders here, even though we're extending the spine long. Remember not to hunch them up around the neck. That's not the way you want to create movement in the spine. So your spine should be extending, but your shoulders should be going down your back here. Take a few breaths, folding in. And then inhale to come up. Untuck that foot from underneath you. And we're going to come into a hammock position again, just rocking the knees from side to side. Loosening up the lower back a little bit more. Loosening up the hips. And then come to lie down on the back with the knees bent. We're setting up for a bridge, so tilt your tailbone so that your lower back is flat on the ground. And it's tilting up to the sky, and then you're going to lift your pelvis and your sacrum off the ground. And then clasp the hands behind the back, bringing the upper back towards the chin. Now here I'm gonna suggest you take half wheel on a block. I didn't have blocks at the time, so I used my arms. You can see I have them propped underneath me. I would suggest that if you're pretty flexible in the lower back, it might be kind of uncomfortable, and I'm not trying to create any discomfort here, just trying to relax. But with the block, or with the hands, what happens is you can really relax in the glutes and squeeze the legs together so you get all the movement that you would normally get in bridge pose, and get the proper alignment as well while you're relaxing. So take whichever variation you'd like, and then come out of the bridge pose and extend the legs long. Extend the arms long above you and lift up, curling up through the spine, or you can use your hands to pick you up. And then we're going to come out back on all fours. And we're going to come to sit in hero's pose. So that's sitting, kneeling. We're going to take a Supta Virasana here. You can see my feet are turned so you can see my feet underneath me. What I'm going to do is bring my seat between my feet, so that's bringing my calves on the outside of my thighs. If that is too much on your knees, what I would suggest is sitting on a rolled up blanket or a block, because what we're going to do, as you can see, is come back. So if the opening sitting upright is enough for you, then please stay there. If just sitting between your feet or sitting on a block is really opening up in your hip flexors, then that's where you should stay. You can come back on your elbows, or you can come back to lay on a bolster. Or if you're feeling good here, you can come to lay down all the way back. And then if you're laying all the way back, you can create a lot more opening in the spine by lifting your arms up overhead. Wherever you are in this pose, just make sure you're really relaxed. So if you're straining to pick yourself up, then that's an unfair advantage to anybody who can just lay down. So get yourself really comfortable. Another way to do this is by taking a bolster and leaning it against the wall at a diagonal angle, and then you can lay on it. You want to be relaxed like you're laying down on the floor. You want to be completely relaxed in the upper body so that you can create a lot of opening in the fronts of your legs. This is a back bend. You're opening up in the front of the body. So just relax here. Create Shavasana with the body. And be careful of the knees. If at any point this feels like a stretch in the knees or a cramp in the knees, back off. This is Supta Virasana pose, reclining hero. We're going to come out of Supta Virasana as evenly as possible. So use your elbows to just kind of move evenly out of the pose. And then bring your feet back underneath you. Keep your knees wide. Shift the hips over to the right. So the right knee is going over to the right, and we're going to just twist in this position. That's the first option. The other option, and keep in mind that your left calf is still outside your left thigh, so you can also bring that right foot into half lotus onto the hip, reaching back to take yogi toe lock and twisting over the right leg. So either option, keeping the foot on the floor or bringing the foot into a half lotus. We're going to twist seated here. Lotus is totally optional, but you're just bending both knees to one side and coming out. Bring the foot out of the lotus. We're going to keep that leg in the half virasana, the left leg, so the calf is still outside the thigh. And then you can take your right foot in your hand and extend that leg. And you can keep it bent or extend it straight, stretching out through the hamstring, drawing the foot up towards you with yogi toe lock. And then release the foot down. And then we're going to come into forward fold with the leg in half virasana, knees together. You might find that this forward fold is a little different than Jani Shirsasana, because with that leg still in virasana, you might feel it a little bit on the outside of the right hip. But either way, just folding forward over that leg. Inhaling to draw the spine longer and exhaling to fold deeper. And inhale to come up. And then we're going to tuck that leg under us, tuck both legs under us, and then bring the right leg in half virasana. bring the left leg in more of a figure four, and you can twist over the left leg, or you can bring the left foot into half lotus and twist around and grab yogi toe lock. The positioning might be easier to see on this side, but taking either variation, come into a seated twist here. It's a pretty gentle twist, and you don't have to do the half lotus. If it's uncomfortable in your knee, I would encourage you not to do it. Breathing in, growing a little taller, and exhaling, twisting a little deeper. And inhale to come out. And then bending the left knee, bringing it upright. Bring your right knee a little bit more towards center. Grabbing the right foot, and you can extend it with a bent knee. You can extend it long. You can draw it into the face, the knee into the face. Growing the spine tall in this pose. You're going to want to hump your back over. Try to stay very tall. Try not to bend in the lower back. And bringing that foot forward, coming to the forward fold. Inhale to grow tall. You might need to readjust yourself to make sure you're not curving in the lower back, and then forward fold. Extending the spine long, moving the head towards the foot. If in any of these poses you just need to sit upright, it's fine. Keep breathing. And inhale to come out of the pose. And then just sit up onto the left leg. We're going to come into a squat. So come out of the pose and into the squat. And I'm grabbing a pillow. So we're going to take a squat with the feet pretty close together. So that's probably really hard to get your feet down on the floor. We're coming into Malasana bead pose. So this is a pose where you make the tiniest object with your body that you could possibly make. So underneath your knees, your shoulders are coming down below your knees, and you're reaching your arms back and trying to clasp underneath. Maybe they're clasping behind your back. Maybe they're just clasping underneath your sit bones, and you're curling under. You're really opening up in that back, balancing on the cushion. And then come out through a downward dog. Extend the spine long again. And then inhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. And come into a reclined pigeon. So if you need to put a cushion under your right hip to make your hips even, you can do that. It's very important that your hips stay level, that one hip is not rolling way above the other hip. And then you're going to extend the spine forward. So we're taking reclined pigeon. You can tuck the toes underneath in the back or not. But this pose, we're not trying to move forward. We're just trying to relax everything. This is a ragdoll. So bring everything farther down. If you need to put a pillow underneath your upper body so that you can relax, because you can't go all the way down to the floor, but you're straining to keep yourself up, I would suggest putting a pillow under your body so that you're able to relax. Maybe even a couple pillows on top of each other. Take any tension out of the shoulders. Let all of the attention come to the hip, any opening in the hip. Notice places in your body where you're holding back so that the hip won't open as much. And just let them go. And inhale to come back up. Bring the right leg back. Come back to down dog. Exhale. And inhale, bring the left knee to the left wrist. Set up for pigeon on the left side. Putting any padding under that hip to keep it even with the other hip. And then coming forward. Maybe onto pillows, maybe just to the floor. Relaxing in a reclined pigeon. And the farther forward your foot is going to be, the more challenging it'll be. So if this is really difficult, you can bring the foot closer to the groin. And if you want more of a challenge, you can push yourself back a little bit by tucking the toe and bringing the shin more at a 90-degree angle. Breathing very deeply, letting go of any tension, anything holding you back from opening up in that hip. It's a strong pose in the hip, and sometimes fear about going deeper into it will cause us to create tension in other parts of our body. And then inhale, come up. And then just kind of roll over to sitting in the center of your mat. Roll over onto your hip. We're going to come into Uttanasana Konasana. So, getting the pillow there. You can sit up on a pillow, or you can come forward folding to lie on it. So we're going to take a seated straddle. Ground very strongly through the sit bones. Engage your legs a little bit so that they're not rolling forward too much. You can come to rest on your forearms. You can come to lay down on a pillow. Or if you want to move gradually deeper and deeper, you can come down to lay on the ground. Maybe you're just holding yourself upright. Maybe you're just coming a little bit, less deep of an angle, just using your arms to support you, sitting almost upright. If you're very deep in the pose, so deep that you're almost kind of back bending in the upper body, bringing the heart forward, it might be more comfortable to turn your head to one side so your face isn't digging into the ground and your neck isn't bending. I'm gonna sit here for a little bit, a couple more breaths. Use this pose to deepen inward. Bring the attention inward and calm down the mind, clear the thoughts. And then we're going to inhale to come up and just slowly bring the legs together, bring them in. Might be a little creaky after that movement. And bring the legs forward. We're going to now bring our legs up the wall. So I'm using my pillow to prop myself up at the wall. The way you come to the wall is you bring one hip to the wall as close as you can get, with your legs off to the side, and then swivel them around. And then just come to lie down. Begin to relax the body here. So we can take our final resting with the legs up the wall. And after a few minutes, maybe you can take Shavasana on the mat, or maybe you can take Shavasana in bed and just get ready to go to sleep using a final relaxation pose. But take the shape of legs up the wall and let everything else go. Let any thoughts go out of the mind. Let any attention to the breathing, engagement with the breath, engagement with the muscles, let that all go. If you'd like, you can drop your feet out to the side into a straddle, or you can just keep them back up at the wall. Whatever might feel more relaxing to you. But just take this pose with the consciousness that you are done moving today. You are done with your practice. You can be done thinking if you want to. You have time now just to relax. So once you feel complete with the legs up the wall, you can come into your Shavasana. And begin to quiet down the mind and go to sleep. So hold this relaxation for as long as possible. And I will see you next time. Thank you for practicing with me.